Hello, hello. How are you all out there? This is Tyra Omilade, your goddess guru. And y'all know I love helping women align with their life purpose using ancient wisdom so that they confidently and courageously live the amazing lives they know they deserve. Is all about the goddess centered lifestyle. And how are you all today? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad that you all are here. Let me just really quickly double check my microphone. I was in a rush to get on. Oh, my microphone is on. So I wanted to get on today and talk to you all about I put in here, how do you keep up with your life cycles? First and foremost, how are you doing? Let me know you're here. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay, because we all know the replay is respectable. You don't miss out because of the replay, okay? So we give thanks for this modern day technology. But yes, I wanted to come on today and start building a case for you all that has been built for me to a certain degree by myself, or for myself, and because I know for a fact that this is something that we really need to know and understand. So one of the things that I am big on, hello Chula, hello M Ortega, how are y'all doing? Rosalinda. Glad y'all are here. But for me, the best thing I can do, hello EM, mwah, how are you, my sister? The best thing I can do is to begin to make sure that people understand that we do have a book. You know how we say about babies and our children, well, kids don't come with a book. Yes, we do. Yes, we do come with a book. Okay. It's called your inner blueprint. And I remember when I was first introduced to the fact that there is a blueprint within me through my own teacher, Ia Oshinike. One of the things that we had to do as we began to get onto this path and saying, hey, you know what? I consciously own my life. I consciously step onto this path that I chose to come here to get on. And I understand what it is that I need to do because I know there's an inner blueprint within me. And she's like, hey, well, I need for you to identify your blueprint. And I'm just here to let y'all know we have this blueprint. There's no reason for us to be walking around here feeling lost. And now we may sometimes be working to get to a certain place, and there's some things that we have to sort of figure out. But this sea of forgetfulness about ourselves and just feeling like I'm not certain. That's a limiting belief that I am confronting my own self. I had a memory of from when I was 3. I witnessed a horrible interaction between my parents. And, when you're 3, folk think you don't know what's going on. But it's like, I know everything that's going on. I see it. And I said to myself at 3 years old, but I'm confused. I'm confused. And I remember even walking through, because we had other family living there. It wasn't just me. There was an aunt and there was babysitters and, folks in the house. And I would just say, what happened? Shh. How many of y'all understand that? You see something, you like, this ain't right. Something wrong. Shh. We don't talk about it. Oh, you too young to understand. You too young to understand. So that's a limiting belief that I'm confronting because what I have found out is I don't know. I'm confused. It keeps me to a certain degree safe. I hold that intention and then I never move forward on the things that I say I want to do because I'm not certain. I'm just not certain. I'm confused. But do you know how many women I meet like that? Oh my goodness, so many women. When I sit down and I look at their chart, I do a reading for them. It's certain things I cannot know, but of course I can see it in their blueprint. And they're like, you know what? That's what I'm doing. I really been feeling like that's the path I'm supposed to take. Oh my goodness. And I say, well, you know what you're supposed to do, sister. It's in you. You come to me so I can help you, solidify the right course to take and firm up that, yeah, you in alignment. Just because the world doesn't agree with you about what your destiny is, it's none of your business. It's none of our business. that the world doesn't agree. Okay. And so we have a blueprint. There is a mission that you're on right now. There will be one a year from now. We have cycle after cycle after cycle that we live through that is a part of our blueprint put in action as soon as we came on into this physical reality. And so what ended up happening is we had this blueprint that fell in here with us. Boom, it goes into play. It goes into action. And there's certain things along the journey that we put in place. It was like we are infinite beings and we know exactly the experience. We know exactly the itinerary that we need when we come into this life. And so we're going to put all of this into this blueprint and then it will unfold. Now, the kicker is because part of reality is that we fall into a sea of forgetfulness. Because how can divinity just come in here knowing, it's divinity and then begin to understand what it is? Like it can't. So divinity in all its infinite wisdom created, it's like this Neptunian thing that we're dealing with today. As a matter of fact, it's this fog. It's falling into the sea of forgetfulness. Boom. We come into this body. And now the blueprint kicks in. The kicker is everyone's like, oh, babies don't come with no book. You don't have no book for this baby. They don't come with manuals. Oh, we don't know. We don't know. Or let me tell you who you are. Let me tell you what your religion is. Let me tell you what you think. Let me tell you what you believe. And so nobody ever told us there's a blueprint that we can follow. There's no need for us to be walking around here in this dark anymore. I saw somebody posted something earlier today. It was something like, we questioning the witches that got murdered, but not questioning the ones that killed the witches. Well, like, what is this about? Why were the witches killed in the first place is the question. And who did this? And why have we just really given things like astrology, numerology, divination, tarot, all this stuff, witchcraft, bad rap. Oh, don't do that. You know how many people, when they begin to jump over, and I'm one of these people, they jump over onto this side of the spiritual path. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm shaking in my boots. I'm so scared. I'm scared if I do this, then this bad thing is going to happen. That's just the game that has been played on us to keep us disempowered. And the more we don't know what our blueprint is, the more we don't live according to our cycles, the more we stay stuck in our stumble, the more money we got to spend to like medicate ourselves and to, pay all these people to help us because we just feel so lost. I don't know. I'm uncertain. I'm confused. Right. So I wanted to come on today and give you a glimpse. I said, once I began to understand astrology, and let me tell y'all something, I'm not just about astrology. Astrology is a tool that I use, that I love, that I'm consumed with. I will not lie about that. But I'm not so much, I am pushing astrology, but not so much pushing astrology as I am letting you all know that I have figured out there is a lot of ways of figuring out what to do and how to get there and understanding the big picture that we don't know. And so, in this information age, once I find something out, I'm letting everybody know. So we all can get free. I have always said Harriet Tubman is one of my favorite. She is one of my all-time favorites. I feel like I am cut from the fabric of Harriet Tubman, the great Harriet Tubman, who, by the way, is a Pisces. Let's hear for all the Pisces in the house. But her thing was, I will get you to freedom no matter what. I will liberate as many people if they want to be liberated. Because, she couldn't just liberate folk. Folk had to walk with her, right? So that's how I feel. I can't liberate you, but I can give you the tools. I can show you the way that I am getting my own liberation so that you can get your own liberation. Hello, everybody. Woo! Folks is here. Folks is here. Let's see here. Virtual hug. Hi, Kiana. Hi, Johnny. Yes, I am on fire. I'm so excited. I have some women who are like, first of all, the ladies in my inner circle push me to say, girl, show up and just keep talking because this stuff is so good. The sisters, y'all, the ones here on my live streams, y'all are just grabbing it up and doing what you need to do. And I'm loving that. Stay aligned. This is what it's all about. But I do have some business coaches who are like, girl, you get to show up and show up, correct. Don't be coming all like, oh, I don't know. I'm not quite sure. So yeah, Johnny J, I'm here for it. Hi, Eileen, Erica. Thank you. This retrograde Erica is is laughing at me. It is so laughing at me. I've just had so many like mishaps. I'm like, what the frick? Mercury retrograde. Okay. So let's see here. Let me make sure that. Hi, CB. Hello, Federa. How are you? Demita. Yes, millions of our indigenous European mothers were exterminated as witches, dreamt of being on trial for clairvoyance. Europe. In Africa too. I've heard in the Ifa tradition, the witches, they it's not, it haven't been looking so good for the witches until now, right? And we do know, y'all, come on, y'all. What is a witch? It's just a woman who is in tune with her inner wisdom and her power. Okay. This is woman's craft is really what it is. The word witch just has a bad, connotation because that's what it was given. But honestly, this is how we live. When we're walking in our woman power, wow, unstoppable. And the powers that be knew that. Is that linked to our Ori? I read that we can choose the wrong Ori. Is that the reason why I feel like I landed in the wrong family? I don't know about choosing the wrong Ori. Like that does not resonate with my soul at all. I don't know where that came from. So I'm not gonna say it's wrong because maybe that's what the elders teach. But I'm not gonna live according to that truth. I don't have to buy any truth I don't want to. I'm not. Howsoever, I do know that some people feel like they have landed into the wrong family. I know this. It's so many people that I see that way. And I personally see that as you have come here to shift the lineage into a new direction. Even if you're the only one, someone has to shift the lineage. This lineage can't just keep going in the direction that it's going. And so oftentimes what I find is people who say, I feel like I was dropped in the wrong family. They are here to move in a new direction. Yes, Harriet helped so many. Hello, Talib. Hi, Natasha. I really need to look into that. She's asking, what are some astro resources for folks wanting to dive deeper into their natal charts? I'm going to give you my opinion, my personal opinion. It is just like the indigenous traditions, the African traditions, oral traditions. That is really what astrology is. Okay. It seems like astrology is something that you can pick up a book and learn, but it's really not. Even if I pick up the book to learn it, I still need to have a teacher. It's just one of those things. It's the best thing that I can explain to you is find classes, find someone who's teaching people. Now, let me tell you something that I actually plan on doing. I'm so glad you said that, Natasha. I actually had said I want, and y'all let me know in the comments, would you be down for paying for this workshop? And it wouldn't cost a lot of money. That's relative, I know. But anywho, my biggest thing is I'd like to get about groups of 10 come into an online space, Zoom, And I begin to help you to understand your chart. Now, I actually have a class that I created, and it's all designed to help people understand their chart so that when you listen to horoscopes that are given, you better understand what needs to happen. Because for me, astrology is very practical. I'm like, why do I need to know all this if it don't make my life no better? I don't know why I need to know all this. Like for the years, I got all the astrology reports. I downloaded. I'd read what they say about my son in the fifth house. You know, all these things. And then I would always end up with like, okay, so what am I supposed to do with this? Okay, yeah, so this is what my rising sign is indicating, but I don't understand it, right? So for me, it's all about practical application. Um, you could always get a reading, but that's something that I want to do is to have a workshop where I can begin to help people look at their chart and actually understand what's there. Because oftentimes, this is one of the reasons it's hard for new people to learn astrology. You don't know where to start. You don't exactly know where to start in your chart. So let me know if y'all are interested in that. But I say find somebody who's teaching beginners. Oh, one of my favorite teachers is Dark Pixie Astrology. As a matter of fact, I consider her to be a friend at this point. But that's one of the places I started. And she has this downloadable manual. It's like this bigger course that she has, but like the first few chapters of this course are free. And she has a whole blog. Like she's got so much over there that you can begin to look at and begin to get an idea of, how can I better understand what's here? What is most important about your chart is to understand, say, for instance, well, this is good. Okay. I'm glad Natasha asked this question because this is good. Let me just say hello to a few other people. Deandra, what's up? I'm like, oh my gosh, Deandra's in the house. Hey, Stephanie, I'll be over soon. I'm going to go swim in Stephanie's pool soon. I don't want to believe that either. Yeah, Erica, I am sorry. I do not receive that we can choose the wrong or read. Or read is for us. This is okay. Hello, angels. Saturnine angel, I think. I think I've spoken to everybody who has commented. So let's talk about this blueprint. Okay. What cycle are you in? Well, let's look at what do you have a lot of in your chart. So for instance, maybe you have a lot of air energy or you have a lot of fire. And of course, people who are new are like, I don't know what's there. But for those who do know a little bit, understanding, do you have a lot of earth? If you have a lot of earth energy in your chart, then that means that you probably need stability, resources, material stuff is important to you. You may not be, all about the capitalistic society, but you're like, you know what? I want a nice little place to live, and I don't want to be not knowing where I'm going to be sleeping month to month. Like that's something that's important to people with a lot of earth energy. People with a lot of fire energy, they need action. If folks that's got a lot of fire, they're like, man, you'll hear them say, it's so boring around here. I need some action. I need some movement, right? And somebody with air, they need movement too. But fire, they're like, I want to do something. I want to be working on something. Air is more of like, hey, how are you doing? Let's talk, let's chat, right? And then water energy, Lord. Those of us with a lot of water, we're very sensitive and oh my gosh, I'm sensing something. My intuition, it's coming to me. Oh, yes. Did you sense that about that situation or that person? Did you sense that? Oh, yes. Or they can feel, it's like, oh my gosh, I just walked in this room and I just feel all the energy here, right? So it's so important for us to understand these kinds of things in our chart. But the best way to understand it is really to find somebody and just be like, all right, let me listen and see what they're going to say. Let me see what they're going to say. So I'm really beginning to see that I need to start teaching more about astrology. I really do. Hey, did y'all see my article? And for I'm on her blog, Dark Pixie Astrology. I'm on her blog. Yes, I am. And one of my articles went out in her newsletter. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I feel like a big girl. I remember when I knew nothing, and here I am now, a part of her blog. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so exciting. Okay, all right. I am going to put together a workshop and just begin to help people, because that's what I love doing, helping people to understand what is going on with them. Drop your ages into the comments. Hello, Queen Marat Rogers. How are you, Queen? I want to get my chart. I don't know my time of birth. So I can help you. So Talib, tell me, do you know roundabouts when you were born? If not, see, that's why working with someone who's trained in astrology can help you to understand, what am I supposed to do if I don't know my time of birth? What am I supposed to do? 33, 52, 24, 48. All right. So I'm going to start. Okay. Let me go back to this. There is this concept in astrology that is called profection. 37. Okay. 43. Nice. 28. Okay. There's this technique, is what we call it in astrology. It's called profection. It's one of the best things I ever learned from one of my teachers, Victor. So, okay. We all have cycles that we live according to. So I'm going to give you the cycle that you know. For sure, you know this cycle. We all know this cycle. Your birthday. A lot of times we'll say happy solar return. That means that the sun in your birth chart has now met with the sun that's in the sky today. Solar return. It's a time of renewal. It's a rebirth. That's your personal new year. Okay. For your birthday, for your sun sign. That's a personal new year. That is a time where I would have fireworks going off and, singing the whatever we sing on January 1st, singing that and having parties. It's like, woo, festival time. It's time to have a good time. Birthday. Okay. So that's the cycle that we all know. Yes. So we have to understand we're always in a cycle. I'm going to tell you something else. Everybody has a moon sign. Okay. Now you do need to know, here's a pro tip. You do need to know your time of birth. You do need to know your time of birth in order to know your moon sign. If you don't know your time of birth, you could have somebody help you figure out, because it's only two options. It's only two options for your moon. Okay. It's only two options. It's real easy. Because the moon will be in one sign, or it will be in one sign and then move into a new sign. So we could do some guesswork with this, okay? But let's just imagine we all know our moon sign. And that moon has a lunar return every month. That's another cycle that you experience. That lunar return kicks off a theme for the month, and it starts. Say, for instance, my moon is in Taurus. Guess what? The moon just so happens to be in Taurus today. So this is my lunar return time. Okay. I'm having my lunar return time. So my month actually is beginning today. Okay. So that's another example of a cycle. And I am telling you, the lunar return cycle is on point. It is accurate. So why does it matter if we know our cycles? Because then we know what it is we're supposed to be working on. And we will focus on it. We won't let the opportunity slip us by, or we don't resist it. Because not every cycle that we go through is a fun cycle. Some cycles, they really are not fun. They're not fun at all. And what do? We resist it. Well, guess what? You're just going to have to wait till that cycle comes back through. Well, with the lunar return, we might have a cycle repeat itself a little sooner. But if you have something like a Saturn return, that happens like once every about 28, 29, 30 years. That's a long time to be waiting for some stuff to be coming back around. The other thing to know too is the beginning of the cycle. So the beginning of your birthday is just kicking off a long 365-day cycle. Okay. So it's kicking it off. There's going to be a high point and then it goes back down and then it comes back to your next birthday. It kicks off, reaches a peak. So essentially you can see your birthday as a new moon time. Full moon is 6 months out and then it just decreases. The energy decreases until it gets back to your birthday, kicks it off again. We live in these cycles, y'all, all the time. So if all you did was just make sure that you lived according to your birthday cycle and you treat that as a new year, that's going to take you very far. That's going to take you very far. And the birthday actually does kick off a cycle. So even if someone doesn't know their birthday or their time of birth, as long as this person knows how old they are, we can give them a cycle. It's called perfection. We can give them a cycle that they can understand this is what you're focused on. And perfection it's a 12-year cycle. So the first year of perfection, the baby is 0 to 1. That's a first house is what we call it, perfected year. It's a theme that has to do with the first house. What's the first house about? The body. Okay. And it just goes on and on and on. And it's something special when we get to 12. It's always something special when we get to 12. And so 12, 24, 36, 48, 56. All of the is that right? No, 60. Sorry. Those have the same theme. Those years have the same theme. 12, 24, 36, 48, 60. And we just keep going. 72. All have the same theme. That theme would be the first house year. What is this year about? What does the first house have to do with? So, Moon and Gemini. Oh, you got a lot going on right now then. If your moon is in Gemini. Okay. So I know I saw a 24 and a 48. Let me pull up my little perfection chart. So I'm going to give you some years. Well, I already gave y'all the first house perfected year. So if you are, I know I don't have any 12-year-olds watching, maybe my nephew. 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, 84. Okay. Maybe you have a 12-year-old or someone who's about to turn 12. Then this would be good for you to know. Or maybe you have someone who is age 0 to 1 in your life. This is about new beginnings. And it's a time of like blooming and blossoming. It should be, it's not always, depending on what else is going on in your chart. But oftentimes that when you're in this perfected year called number 1, you feel like you're having a time of expansion. You're stepping into something new. And so what I want y'all to know is all those years indicate you're kicking off a new 12-year cycle. And so you really want this time to be fresh and new and to start doing something new, start being different. Don't stick with what you've done. Move in a whole new direction. Take your life where you want to go. Allow yourself to have more expanded possibilities and opportunities. Take those opportunities up. So for me, and if anyone wants to talk about what they remember at those ages and those who are there now, let me know if you can relate to this. For me, at my perfected year of 24, I got married. I didn't know anything about astrology at the time, but that's what happened for me. I stepped into being a higher level of adult, in my opinion. And I was so excited about getting married. It was new, it was fresh, and it kicked off a whole new season and chapter of my life. At 36, my perfected year 36 is when I initiated as a priestess of the Sacred Feminine Mysteries, which is the goddess tradition. And at 48, that's when I fell deeply in love with astrology. I found it and just was like, I'm ready. Let's do this. I just so happened to have my Jupiter return at that time too. Anywho, I should not be using too many terminologies. Okay, let me see what y'all are saying. Yes, I do. Ashe. The youngest son just turned 12. So he's gonna become somebody new. Once you see a kid step into 12, something changes. I remember with my older son, still at that time, I did not yet know astrology. He was like, to me, I don't use the word difficult, but he was a handful prior to turning 12. And I was homeschooling. And I remember thinking, I hate 11. 11 is the worst age ever. And then he turned 12, and all of a sudden, it was just like a miracle. You talk to a lot of people who have 11-year-olds, they will tell you, my 11-year-old, like, they could have been perfect prior to 11. They turn 11, and all of a sudden, you're like, this is like the meanest little person. I remember when I was 11, I don't even know how my sixth grade teacher dealt with us. We had the most, like, she was going to go toe to toe with us verbally because we were pills. We were pills. You got to be special to teach sixth graders, 11-year-olds. I'm applauding anyone who teaches 11-year-olds. Okay, I'm going to keep going. So Erica, you kicked it off. You just kicked off 48. She asked, did she miss a milestone on her birthday? You can't miss it. Like I didn't know that I was having all of these milestones until after I started studying astrology at 48. But I sensed them. I remember them happening. I didn't associate them with the number 12, but I remember them standing out in my mind. So you can't miss the milestone. You're in it. And so allow yourself to open. I would love to hear from you, Erica. Tell me, what new thing do you feel like, I just want to move in this direction? What feels new for you? Like, I'm excited about this. I just know this is where I need to go. That's what it felt like for me when I was 48. Now, I'm going to be real with y'all. All right? I'm going to be real with y'all. The deeper we get into our 40s, 47 is not an easy year. 47 is hard for most women I know. I don't know anyone who escaped it and it didn't feel hard. I'm not quite sure about men, but women, yeah. I've been doing my observations of all my friends who come behind me, and 47 is a pill, but it's a part of what's in our chart. Oh my gosh, it's a part of what's in our chart. So 48 just feels like you just got free. It's because you stepping into a 1 year. What's one? New beginnings, right? Okay, so I'm going to call out these ages for the number 2 year, okay? Yes, 47 is hard. It's okay. You'll make it. But my heart goes, some days I cry for my friends who are 47. They'll call me and they're distraught. They are feeling like they're being wrecked. And it makes me remember that time. It was so like, oh my gosh. But we'll talk about why is 47 so hard in just a minute. So for 2, it's age 1. The baby's already 1. 13, 25, 37, 49, 61. Maybe there's someone 73. My friend is saying I warned her about 47. I did. I've told everybody I could tell. 47 is hard. 48 is great. 49, it's a pill. 50 was not easy. And 51 is a force. It's a force. And I'm going to tell you this, Ellen, and anybody who understands this, is because when you hit around this age, that Saturn square Saturn, that's 51, baby. Saturn square Saturn. Okay. So y'all heard your ages for 2. 1, 13, 25, 37, 49, 61, 73. Let me hear. Talib can't remember 47. That's probably because it was not fun. Okay. When you're in a 2 year, certain themes that can come up for you: working on your self-worth, your self-value, working on your money. Got to get that money right. It could be a time where you're working on your self-care, taking care of yourself, especially when it comes to food. The second house oftentimes has to do with food. And the second house is when you're in a two perfected year, oftentimes another thing will be your stuff. Maybe you're like, I just want to get new stuff. Like, why am I keeping this old stuff? Or why am I keeping so much stuff in my house? Right. So, nice, Erica. Yes. And so she's talking about all the work she's doing now that she's at 48. And just remember, every year lays a foundation for the next year that you're going into. It's all, there's a rhyme and a reason to it. Let me put it that way. And this is why it does matter what you do. So know your cycle. It does matter what you do. It matters. It really does. So moving on to number 3 year. This is someone who's 2, who's 14, who's 26, 38, 50, 62, 74. I love that, Erica, being a doula. Go for it. Go for it. 48-year-olds and up, we're the best doulas because our babies are, for the most part, are older and we are free to go and help all these new mamas. So if you're in this 3 year, 2, 14, 26, 38, 50, 62, 74, maybe even 86 if you have an elderly parent. This is a year where you're like, I want to learn something new and I want to learn it now. I want to learn some new skill. Or it's a year where you're like, I really need to be working on my mind. Maybe I'm dealing with some stinking thinking, some limiting thought forms. Or maybe in your 3 year, it'll be a year where you're very much focused on your mental health. Maybe you get a business started in a 3 year, or something pops off with your siblings, cousins, friends. A 3 year will make you like, I don't really want to travel too much. I just like being here in my local community, walking around the neighborhood, getting to know all the restaurants. 3 has a lot going on. 3 has a lot going on. I have been really working on bettering my self-care and how I treat myself. So, Angel, are you in a 2 year? That sounds like a 2 year. Okay, so I'm moving on. Number 4. Here's a 4 cycle. This is not numerology. This is perfection in astrology. This is 3. Oh, I just figured something out. If your age is 3, 15, 27, 39, 51, 63, and maybe you watch this, you're 75, or you have someone in your family who's 87. Check this out. I just now get why when kids are 3, they're so whiny. Y'all cut these babies some slack. They're in a 3 year. They're in a 3 year. All right, thank you. So Saturnine Angel has confirmed her 2 year is on point. And this is without me looking at anybody's chart, okay? So use what I'm saying as a guide. Let it be your guiding light for this year and move with the theme of your year. So this is a 4 year. A 4 year is foundational, just like we think about in numerology. It is it is a foundational time of life. It is a year that has to do with emotion. I'm in that year right now, 51, right here. And it just makes you come to terms with your inner, emotional well-being. But if you have a 3-year-old in your life, cut them some slack. They're in a 4 year. 4 is emotional. And the babies, they just be so whiny at 3. It makes you crazy. But just be patient with them because when they turn 4, they will be very confident. All right. Very confident. So a 4 year is also a year where it's something about the home. You might even feel like, I don't really want to leave my house too much. I'm just really introverted right now. And when you're in a 4 year, you could find yourself being very emotionally sensitive. But you might also be wanting to spend more time with your family or learn more about your ancestors, because this 4 in astrology, it does have to do with the ancestors. It may be something going on with your parents in a 4 year. Yeah. And it might not be that your parents are still alive, but some theme comes up surrounding your parents. Let me know if there's anyone who is in a 4-year outside of me. I'm second phase. Second phase. Second phase of what? Did I miss something? Ah, And I talked so much. I may have said something and I forgot what I said. Federa. Okay, so for a 5-year, I can't wait. Oh my gosh. I keep saying you probably are just doing this grass is greener on the other side thing, but I'm ready for a 5-year, y'all. So ages 4 and 16, 28, 40. This explains 40 to me now. 52, 64, 76, 88. 5 is the house, the energy that has to do with confidence and feeling good about yourself. And like, I will shine. I'm going to be exactly who I came here to be. And you want to have so much fun. And, it's about love and romance and sex. It's also about children. So maybe those who are about 28-ish or so, when you're in a 4-year, some folks might be pregnant. Or you just find yourself immersed in working on, something to go with children. But just think about 4-year-olds and how they just become so confident. I remember noticing this before I even had children. It was like kids just changed all of a sudden when they were 4. That's because they're in a 5-year. Think about 16 and how we emphasize that. In some cultures, not all. 40. What do we see the sisters saying when they turn 40? Y'all, I have made it. I have arrived. I'm here. 40 and fine. 40 fine. 40, 40, 40. I'm here. I'm my own woman. I'm doing my own thing. And now I see why. 5-year. That's how you are. The energy of 5 is like Leo, where you're like, I am woman. Hear me roar. Right? So yeah, but then when we hit 41, oh my gosh, let me talk about, let me see if y'all, my house, I'm soon 37. You're 37, soon to be 38. Okay. I see what you're saying. 37. Oh yes. See, I like that second house year theme and the third house, they work for me. They didn't wreck me. Okay. Those 2 houses, I'm like, this is me. I like these houses. Now, the second house will make you begin to take some courses on money and maybe do anything you can to improve your self-worth. And then the third house to me is fun. It's just a fun house. I enjoyed my third house perfected year and I lived it up to the hilt. Okay, so if you're 5, 17, 29, oh my gosh, okay, 41, 53, 65, 77, 89. You're in what's called the 6th house year. Because I always want to say to people, it's like you don't want to rain on folks' parades. But I always say, okay, 40, first and foremost, at 40, you still young, honey. You still young, okay? But you do have some respect. Like 40 is respectable. But I always tell people, baby, you still young. But then I just want to tell them what my mother-in-law used to tell me, baby, just keep living. But you don't want to rain on folks' parades. So now I realize at 40, we're in our 5 house year. I did it. I made the post about being 40, but baby, 41. Let me tell you about 41, 5, 17, 29, 41, 53, 65, 77, 89. That's not a fun year. 6-year is not fun. It's about health and creating a better lifestyle, a lifestyle that supports you, achieving your goals and your dreams. And it's a house that's like, hey, are you disciplined or are you not disciplined? If you're not disciplined, you're not going to like this year. You're not going to be happy because in order for you to have your health, in order for you to have more success, you're going to have to be more disciplined. You're going to have to take care of yourself. And it's the day-to-day routines that you're going to have to be focused on. And that's why when I got to 41, I was like, well, I thought the 40s was all that. 40s ain't all that. So let me know if anyone is at the 6th house year. Yep. Okay. Queen Murat Rogers. Let's see. You said 42. Okay, we about to get to 42. I'm gonna break down 42. Federa says that's what she's experiencing. 45. We're gonna just start with 45 and then you take note on 46, Eileen. That's good that you see what's coming. You're gonna know what to do. I'm just ready to be 34 because 33. Yeah, 33 is a heavy year, but it's one that's foundational. One that's foundational. 40 I sparkled, 41 I was all work. There we go. Example. Okay, so let's move on to the seventh house year, the seventh perfected year. This is for kids who are 6 or adults who are 18, 30, 42, 54, 66, 78, and 90. Okay. So for that year, okay, let me go back. If you're not, if your age was in the 4 year, that could be a year where a lot of change is happening. In that 1 year, you can find changes happening. 1, 4, 7, 10, Johnny J, 10. These are years where big shifts happen. Something changes, something new is on the horizon. Okay. These houses are definitely create new beginnings and they're active houses. It's like a lot is going on. So for the seventh house year, this is a year that has to do with relationships. It has to do with partnerships. It also has to do with like balance, give and take. Are things in balance? Or are they out of balance? This is a major thing that could come up for you. But it's truly about relationships. A lot of times when I see people who have a seventh house energy going on, man, it's a lot going on. It may be love, maybe not. It's just something's going down with the relationships. Um, and it'll be to a certain degree all consuming. Now, something else that I saw going on with people who have seventh house energy, legal affairs. Legal affairs could be for the sixth house people too. Debt is also something that is affiliated with the sixth house, but I'm going back to the seventh house. Seventh house, you could find yourself caught up in a lot of legal affairs. Business, it is a social house. It's a house that has to do with business, especially partnerships. But if you get into a seventh house year and you're like, you know what? I feel like I need a coach. I need some help. I need some support. Get that help in that seventh house year. Okay. Anyone understanding that 42? I don't remember 42. I'm gonna be honest with you. Must not have been that bad, but I was in the throes of raising childrens. I was just coming out of my son's sixth house year, or whatever, however old he was, 11th house year. Oh my gosh, it was rough. Okay, so when I was 42, yeah. Let me see here, y'all. Y'all ready for 8? And maybe because you know how sometimes when the kids go to school, when they're about first grade, you hear them talking about so and so is my wife or my boyfriend or whatever. That's because when they're 6, man, they in that time of wanting to be coupled up, booed up. I'm like, dang, so young. You're already thinking about that at 6. Yeah, they might be. Now I don't promote it. I'm not trying to say I promote that kind of thing, but I'm just saying, looking at this chart now, it's like, oh, this is why some of these kids is doing that at 6. 52 is a 7. 52 is a 5 year. 50. This is perfection. It's not numerology. It's perfection. Okay. So we're going to go to the 8th perfected year, which is ages 7, 19, 31, 43, 55, 67, 79, and 91. Now, let me tell you about these ages, okay? I mean, this house. This is one of the least fun years ever. I remember 19 not being fun. I actually remember 7 not being fun at all. I hated, not in hate, let me not say I hated. I had a teacher who made me feel very uncomfortable. It was like this teacher did not like me, to the point where I had my mom get me switched to another class because I just couldn't learn. I was very energetically sensitive. And so I think that she probably didn't think one way about me or another, but I picked something up about her. I just couldn't focus. My mom was like, I got to move her to another class. I remember 19 being hard. When I was at Spelman College, I had some financial aid issues. That's what this house is about. Actually, the 8th house is about other people's money, shared resources, wounding, healing, deep healing. It's about things that are uncomfortable, dark secrets. It's a house that's very psychological. So it could be some of us realized like we woke up to mental health problems at one of these ages. So yeah, 19, I was having problems with financial aid, other people's money, because that's what this could deal with, loans and scholarships, inheritance. Some of y'all may have gotten some inheritance when you are about one of these ages. Okay, yay, Erica. Yes, I am going to get this. I had just been thinking about this workshop today, I think it was. And I was like, I just really want to get people to understand what's here so that you just feel normal and you realize you're not living by the seat of your, stuff. You're not living by happenstance. It's not that way. It's not that way at all. Other people use different oracles. Astrology may not be something that everybody uses. My biggest thing is, hey, if you don't want to learn astrology, just go get a reading. I have spaces available. Many astrologers do. But my point is, pay somebody to look at your chart and tell you what's there. Just go like once every 3, 4, 6 months, something like that. Get your chart looked at, find out what's your cycle, and just go live your life and do what you're supposed to do, because not everybody is going to get that deep into it. But yeah, 19, EM said her life blew up. Okay, so M. Ortega, you're going into your 4-year next month. Just be gentle with yourself, because 4 is not easy. 4 is not, it's just very emotional. And some of it depends on what some other stuff is, but I don't think we can get past it. And so I just say, whatever you need to do to take care of yourself emotionally, do that. With this 8th house year, whatever you need to do to take care of yourself. Like I tell people, when you are dealing with this 8 energy, as much as your budget allows, pay that money to take care of yourself. Otherwise, you find yourself caught up in trauma after trauma. It's like stuff just keeps happening. It's all just like blowing up in your face. And sometimes we might find ourselves caught up in addictions and stuff like that too. It's just like, we're putting ourselves in coping mode, self-protection mode, but we may not be using the best things to do it. Same for the 12th house year. Once I get there, 12th house year is rough. So 8th house year is not an easy year. It's a year where it's like, oh my gosh, I really need to look at this thing that I have not been looking at. Now, if you take that 8th house perfected year and actually do that work to heal yourself, you're going to come out shining in the next house, which is 8. You had a teacher. Yeah. If you have a teacher who you don't like and you're sensitive like me, this is not a good combination. As a kid, especially. So what ends up happening is you can look at the 8th house as the womb. You go into that womb, and then when you come into that 9th house year, that 9th house perfected year, birthed anew. It's like you have this epiphany. Life feels so much more expansive. Now, y'all, look, it's a whole lot that could be going on in the chart that could make somebody's 9th house year not feel exactly like this. But I tell people all the time, I'm in a rough spot right now in my chart. But guess what? I'm going to make the most of it. When I feel emotionally off center, like I don't feel like myself a lot of times here lately, I just tell myself, this is the time that I'm in right now. And so I'm going to honor it. If this is how I feel, it's just how I feel. Maybe this is just how I need to feel today. I just need to feel off center. Or maybe I can begin to have some questions. Okay, what's going on? Did something trigger it? Is this something that's ongoing? What is this really about? I need to have a conversation with myself about what's going on so that I can do something about it. So it's like, take advantage of the time. See, this is the other thing about understanding your cycles. You want to grab that energy and channel it. We're not living flying by the seat of our pants anymore, y'all. We're not doing that. Not us, because we now we know. We're in the know. So we're gonna be in the flow. Okay. So we get to the ninth house year. What is the ninth house year? 8, 20, 32, 44, 56, 68, 80, and 92. And so this is a year of expansion and a time where people are looking at their belief system and their life philosophy and feeling like, I want to, maybe you just start, whatever you used to think, you don't think this anymore. It's a year where you might find yourself traveling, or you may find yourself like, hey, I really want to write a book. Or maybe you've been writing a book and then all of a sudden you turn 44, the book is published. That's because this ninth house year has to do with publishing. It could be a year where you really stand out as a teacher. This house has to do with, this house has to do with teaching. You stand out as a teacher for those of us who have teaching energy. Or you find a new guru, you find a new teacher. It's okay to have a spiritual teacher, y'all. The ultimate spiritual teacher is within you. Every spiritual teacher should be leading you back to yourself. But I believe in having a human teacher because I have blind spots. And I can't, if it's a blind spot, I can't see it. So I need my teacher to help me with my blind spots, right? I need my teacher to give me something to chew on and expand upon. Okay. Even my teacher has teachers. She'll even let us teach her. If we know something she doesn't know, she was like, all right, everybody come on in here. Priestess so-and-so, Baba so-and-so getting ready to teach something that I don't know. None of us know. So get y'all's pens and papers out. And she will be excited to learn. Okay. So even the teachers are learning, the great masters. My godmother, EM, speak up, sis, because I know you agree, is the greatest. She's the GOAT. So yeah, this ninth house year is a year where you will just feel like, yes. So I am talking about perfected years. They are, Norma. They are precious. Oh my gosh, I love my teacher. Actually, I have two. Baba G is in Ancestor World now. But I talk to him all the time too. But anywho, the perfected year. So right now we're talking about the ninth house perfected year, which is age 8, 20, 32, 44, 56, 68, 80, and 92. And so these are the themes for that year. I love that ninth house year. My world expands. It's a time where you just want to get to know more about the world. You may find that you're traveling to other countries, or you're just learning something new about another culture. But it's definitely a time to take you outside of your box, beyond your limits, so that you step into something new. Another thing about the ninth house year, a lot of times when people are in that ninth house perfected year, they might be going to college, or they might be working on a higher level of certification of some sort. So like it wasn't my ninth house perfected year, but my ninth house was lit up. I just started taking longer term courses. Like I would be in an astrology course for like 6 months to a year. So yeah. Yes. 44 is definitely a spiritual. I'm noticing that you're right. 44 is definitely a year where people are like, okay, I'm back. I don't know what just happened. I thought 40s was supposed to be so liberating and free. And not feeling that way. 44 feels good. Okay, 44. Now 45. Oh, let me tell you about the numbers. For the 10th house perfected year, 9, 21, 33, 45, 57, 69, 81, 93. Those are the ages for the 10th house year. When we get to that house year, this is about success. It's about, I'm going to be known for what I want to be known for and not what anybody says I'm supposed to be known for. I decide. I decide this. And I'm not going to let anybody, label me. I am going to let folks know this is what I'm here to be known for. And this is the legacy I want to leave. And it's a year where you may feel like you have to work hard, but just know the 11th year is a year where you gain from the 10th house year. So that's important to know. You gain from all the hard work you did in that 10th house year. Because just remember, 10 might be setting off something new. For women, the 10th house year, oftentimes, not often, but sometimes it could be a status change because it's about your status. And so sometimes a woman might, if she's one of these ages, let's say it would have to be probably 21, 33, 45, 57, 69. Lord have mercy. Maybe 81 too, 93. Marital status change. Was married, not married now. Not married, now married. 10th house year could bring that about for women. But it's definitely a year where we're more like, this is my life's work. This is what I want to be known for. This is what I want to do. And I don't want anybody to be telling me it's not possible or whatever. I'm going to go for my dreams. Because I know I've been doing this over here. I don't want to be known for that anymore, unless it's in alignment with what you want to do. That 10th house year also could be this year where you're like, I'm about to up level. They're going to give me that. They're going to give me that raise. They're going to give me that promotion. That's what's going to happen for me this year. You can see some up level happen for you in that year. Okay, so the ages now that we're going to go over for the 11th house perfected year. Let me see here. 45 has been all about me. Yes. Woo. Yes. 44 could have been a rough year because it's other stuff that's in the chart. So that's just in general. But maybe what you did in that 44 year, tell me if this happened, Eileen. You said severely depressed prior to 44. Got you. I was going to say maybe during that year, it's like you really went out and got some help from a professional who just really like set you off and you were like, whoa, this is perfect. I'm free. I'm good. 10th house year. I'm coming for all I want. Yes, love. Yes. Keep planting those seeds, Johnny J, because they will be fruitful in the 34 year. So let's look, or the 11 year for 34. So let's look at the ages for 11, 10, 22, 34, 46, 58, 70, 82, 94. So the 11th house year to me is like a great year. I'm always so excited when I see somebody has some 11th house energy going on, because it is a time of being gameful and achieving goals. Actually, the 9th house year is a year where you might find I'm really achieving some goals that I set forth for myself. 11th house year is most certainly a time where you will find like, oh my gosh, I'm getting these goals achieved. I'm doing this. You just feel like you're unstoppable with making this forward movement, because the 11th house year is like progress. I want to make progress. I'm tired of being stuck. I need to be moving forward in my life. And so it's also a time of connectivity, where we might find ourselves either connected, like in the internet, or you just find yourself in a new community. That might be another way of looking at it. You found this community, because I remember I found my godparents around this time. I was a little bit younger than that, but I was truly immersed at 34, no question. And so people have they're of like minds. They have the same interest as you. You might find yourself literally living as a part of a commune, but no, really being a part of a community. Let me see here, 34, 46. Yeah, 46 was when I started getting in the throes of perimenopause. So I'm having problems understanding 46. Remembering 46, I don't know. But anywho, 34, I do remember being a part of a community. At 22, I think that's when I started becoming like a health nut. I was part of the, healthy eating and herbs and yeah, just like when I tell y'all I've done some extreme, styles of eating, I've done some extreme styles. And it all started when I was about 22. Hey, Mimi Branch. Yes, I did that during my 58th year, moved across the country. There we go. There we go. 58. Move to a new community. 11th house here is a social house. You will find yourself in somewhere new with people you don't know. And it's all about, a lot of times it's all about progress. And so the other thing that I want to say, just to shout out to like the 60 plusers, I don't really know if I have people who are in their 70s watching me, but this understanding these perfected years, it shows why people still have dreams and aspirations even when they get older. We need to applaud our elders. Like, when I saw the ones from Earth, Wind, and Fire, and who was the other group they went? Isley Brothers. I was like, these elders have shown me I need to get it together. But this will show you, some of them are somewhere in the 70s or whatever. You still got it going on. Like, you got dreams, you got aspirations. Life don't stop just because the world said when you get older you're supposed to retire and just go sit on the front porch and in a rocking chair. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But this is why we see so many seniors living their best life, and we need to encourage it, because guess what? We're gonna be there one day. Okay, we're gonna be there one day. The 50 plus is y'all still young. Like, none of us in our 50s are old yet. Not one of us. She did shut the front door. I need to check in with her about that. I think I know which one you're talking about, actually. I'm so excited for her. This is exciting. Oh my gosh, great news has arrived today. Okay, so last house. I know the ones who are at this age are like, what about me? What about me? Here we go. Ages 11, 23, 35, 47, 59, 71, 83, 95. G. Mo Nettie. Oh, thank you, Queen Murad. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Look, I'm gonna do like I see on other ones. We're gonna thank her. I appreciate you so much. How lovely of you. When we get to this 12th house year, this is not a fun year. It's like 8 and 6. 12th house year, I have yet to see anybody go through this 12th house year like, girl, this was just fun. Like, this age was perfect. I was just so happy. 11, 23, 35, 47, 59, 71, 83, 95. Now the 95-year-olds might just be like, baby, I don't care. I'm just waiting for the Lord to take me on home. I don't know what they're doing. It's not often you get to talk to a 95-year-old person. But my father-in-law had a rough year at 83. He had a rough year at 83. Woo. Okay. 23. Well, like I told you about 11. I remember 11 being a sort of a rough year. I think I dealt with bullies when I was 11. But both of my kids at 11, I was like, we're going to end homeschooling pretty soon. I can't take it anymore. This is making me crazy. And I see it so often with people who have 11-year-olds. So y'all cut the 11-year-olds some slack. When they turn 12, hopefully things will get a little bit better. But yeah, 11, cut them some slack. 23, do you remember what it was like when you were 23? Okay, yes. So 23, I remember 23 being a little bit rough. I had a few relationship issues with my then boyfriend. He's my husband now, but we had a few relationship issues. I was very depressed. I remember that was one of the years where I was like, I'm dealing with depression here. 5, I'll tell you, I'll come back to 5 to leave, okay? Oh, 5, 5. 5 is very similar to what I'm about to tell you, okay? 5 is not the easiest year. Even though 5-year-olds are so precious. Oh my God, I love 5-year-olds. 35, I remember being a little bit rough. I was going through my initiation and just all my stuff. See, 12 house year is about what's hidden, what is hidden, right? Uh, it's what's underneath the surface that we don't want to talk about. Maybe we have suppressed this thing and we do everything we can to keep it a secret. Or it's just like, I've got to work on my inner landscape. It's like something's there. I remember when I first started studying myself, like, well, how do I fall into this depression? Like, what happens? Because I've dealt with depression a long time. And I started saying, okay, I'm going to just rewind the tape and go, because I was feeling good like 5 minutes ago. Like, I'm really trying to figure out what happened between 5 minutes ago and now. Then I feel like crap. And I remember the first time I did this, I went back and I just replayed everything that happened. And then I realized just underneath an audible tone in my mind, I don't even remember what the thought was, but let's just say it's like, you're wretched. Like, I have dealt with this kind of thought. I'm like, So it wasn't anything really happened. It's just this thing came from, I don't know, somewhere in the abyss of my mind and said this. And it was something it felt like it was designed to tame me. Like, don't get too excited. You know how we talk about our ego? And when I say ego, I don't mean like somebody who's just acting like they're all there and they just got the big head. It's a construct that we have. And this ego, um, it's like, hey, let me keep you safe. I will keep you safe at all costs, even if it means that I'm gonna keep you stuck in your stumble, limited and unhappy. At least you safe. You know how some of us say, I'd rather stick with the devil that I know. You know how we've heard people say that. That's our ego. Our ego is like, baby, you already know this mess right here. Don't go trying to do nothing new, because you might get in a new mess. Then you got to get to know the new mess all over again and stuff. Like, nah, even though maybe I don't land in a new mess, maybe I land someplace where I really want to be. But that's what our ego will do. And that's what I began to realize. That's what I was doing when I was around 35 years old. I was identifying what's underneath the surface of myself. It's a deeply internal house. Like it's like the fourth house year, the eighth house year. I don't really want to hang out with too many people because I'm doing a deep dive into myself. I'm very introspective. If you know numerology, it's like a 7th-house year almost. It's like I don't want to be around a lot of people because I'm just really taking this time to think and heal. It's a time where we should be healing, but it's that the 12th house is the year. Is the house you could look at where people about to go on over to the other side, or you can look at it as the womb just before we get birth into our bodies. This is what my teacher taught me. I ain't make none of this up. He said the 12th house year is the womb. It's like what was going on right before you got born. And so think about birth. Like when we really watch these little babies coming out and we watching the mama giving birth, like, yeah, I know we can have this orgasmic birth, but most of us don't have that. A lot of us is like, whoa, this hurts. I can't even imagine what these little babies are going through. You got the womb all mushing and squishing them, trying to push them down. They got to, get their head all molded, come out. This thing is not comfortable. So when we're in our 12th house year, it's not comfortable, but it's worth it because that's a year 11, 23, 35, 47, 59, 71, 83, 95. That's a year where you can say, you know what? I'm just going to let it go. Whatever's coming up, because that's what's going to happen. It's going to come up for you to look at. Okay. I don't like looking at that. It hurts. But guess what? I know it's up. So I can let this thing go. Maybe I need to do some forgiveness work. Maybe I need to do some hypnosis. Maybe I need to do some, deep spiritual healing. Go work with some priestess, shaman, whatever you want to call it, some body temple worker or whatever, where it's really working you to get everything purged out. And it could be a time too where you're really thinking about your ancestors, like what kind of ancestral mess am I dealing with over here? Like what part of it do I need to get healed up? So yeah, the 12th house year is it's not exactly the fun one. Hello, Solid Dre. How are you? I put that memory so far back in my mind. Couldn't wait for the year to be over. 59. Yes. 59. 59 is it's rough. Okay. I did year 5. It's the ages 4, 16. Wait a minute. 5-year or age 5? Which one are you asking me about? Let me see here. She skipped 5. Oh, 5-year. Okay, so I did 5-year. It's the ages 4, 16, 28, 40, 52, 64, 76, and 88. That is a year where you smelling yourself like you are feeling like I am the queen. I am the king. I'm living my best life. You are feeling like you want to express yourself and you only want to be exactly who you are. You might even get in touch with some gifts and some talents that you have. It's a year where you're like, I just want to have some fun. I want to be creative. You might even feel, for those who maybe 16-year-olds, but I'm going to say 28 and up. I'm not going to assign this to the 16-year-olds, but where you just really feeling beautiful and sexy. It might be a year where you feel like, hey, I'm going to get out and date a little bit more. Or if you're already in a committed relationship, you're going to be like, hey, I need to be wined and dined, or I want to go out on this date and do this. I want a date life. See, this is what the 5-year does. But yeah, that's what 5 is. I can't wait for 5. The ancestral mess is real. Every last one of us, I think, have ancestral stuff to clear up. Especially if you live in the United States, I really say if you live in over here, anywhere in the Americas, North or South, you got some ancestral stuff to clean up. I just don't see how that's possible for us not to. Just think about it, especially those of us who are transplants, however you got here via, maybe your ancestors came over because they were the captives. Maybe your ancestors rode over on some boat, because they said, I'm going to go to see if I can make it over in the USA. I don't know how your ancestors got here, but it doesn't matter. In the Americas, most of us, unless you Native American, I got one Native American. She chimes in on Facebook. One Native American. Those are the only ones that are like, well, you know what? I think I'm from here. Okay, I'm from this part. But even they have so much. Even our Native American sisters and brothers, we know they got a lot of stuff that needs to happen on behalf of their ancestors, right? And in the Central and South America, there's some indigenous people who, there's some people who might be indigenous. They might have ancestors who are indigenous, but just because of the way this land got encroached upon, it doesn't matter. We need to be dealing with our ancestral stuff over here in these here Americas. We got to get this thing worked out. First and foremost, deal with your own ancestral lineage. That's the best way to clean up ancestral stuff. Send light and love to your dark ancestors, and then call on the ones of light to help you continue to move forth the legacy that you came here to bring forth. Massage therapist, and I feel like I'm the best at it. Let's see, you're 52. I love that. Yes, that's it. Hold on to that. EM says she came here with a mop and a broom. I love it. I agree. Hey, T Luna. I agree to leave. I need a massage, actually. I'm like, oh my gosh. I still haven't gotten out and about. I'm actually getting ready to go get off and go get in my friend's pool so I can do water aerobics. I have decided that I am going to get this weight off of me. It's time. It's safe for me to work out again. Y'all know I have been a fitness instructor. And thanks to the pandemic, I am no longer teaching dance and fitness. But because I taught for so long, I had this mental block for working out. I was like, I can't work out. I've got to save my body to teach. But teaching isn't really a workout. I wasn't giving myself enough time to recover. And oh my goodness, y'all, I'm in the 8th house year of deep, intensive healing. Been working on healing my body. I don't know if any of y'all use CBD products. Got all my CBD stuff going on because, oh man, it's tight. It's creaky. It's cracky. I got my essential oils over there. Now y'all know, even though this ain't I don't know why I got this brand, but I got my shea butter. I was desperate one day. I have never seen white shea butter a day in my life. I was like, what is this? And then I found out that's what some people do. I'm like, who would do that to shea butter? Let me see here what else I got. Oh, take all kinds of herbs. I got my little magnesium, all that. When I tell you this sister's on a self-care journey, I am. And part of that is getting in this swimming pool. California. That's one of my places I want to go visit. I have got to get to California. I will look you up when I come to California, even though I know it's a huge state. On my health RN2, yep, I'm a fitness instructor and a nurse, gained a lot this last year. And see, Eileen, a lot of times we have to be so cautious. As people who are caring for the people. Oh my goodness, we have such a huge capacity to love and care about them that next thing we know, we don't have, our cup is empty. Our cup is empty. So, all right. Thank y'all. I hope that y'all enjoyed this. Again, why am I talking about this? It is because it is my mission to help everyone to understand that we have a blueprint. We have an internal book that we can access. And when you understand your cycle and you work with your cycle, then you know what your mission is, at least for a year, because this is all based on age. Every year you change, become a new age, you got a new focus and mission. And so once I began to realize, let's say for this 6th house year, or a time where there's a focus on my 6th house, which I know has to do with health and wellness, there are days when I remember thinking, maybe not. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I'm in a 6th house time. This 6th house energy is very heightened for me right now. I better get on my grind and figure this out. I better take care of it. See, I don't sleep on it. I don't let stuff slip and fall by the wayside. This 4th house year that I'm in, it's harsh. It's very, very harsh for me because if you know astrology, I'm a Scorpio rising. So I have Saturn in my 4th house anyway. And I'm having a 4th house year. When I tell y'all, my emotional body has been challenged this year. I have learned so many techniques for dealing with emotions. I remember when I was sort of like, oh, I know I've heard of this tapping, and I think tapping it sounds like it, I've tried it. I'm not quite sure about tapping. Oh, sister be like this. Even though I love and appreciate myself, it's like I'm doing all kinds of work because I'm like, whoa, I'm in a 4th house year. And I'm going to tell y'all something about the 4th house year that I learned too that I thought was interesting. Well, Saturn in my 4th house, let me say it that way. Saturn in my 4th house is laying the foundation for something that's going to come down the line for my career. See, that's what I'm saying. If you understand what's going on right now, you're laying a foundation for something that's coming down the path. This is not happenstance. This is not happenstance. Okay, thank you. Please join the inner circle. I would love to have you all. I even forgot to put that on there, but goddessbodymindspirit.com. Here we go. And I would love to have you join the inner circle. I go live within my inner circle at least once a week on Mondays. It's a special exclusive live stream that I share with people or with the ladies in my inner circle. I do readings. I even have classes. Let's say you're like, you know what? I don't know if I'm ready for the inner circle right now. I have a few classes. I would encourage you to take the classes because that's where, yeah, look, I'm leaving a legacy. I'm leaving my footprint. Okay. I'm like, you know what? Folks didn't tell us all of this, but I'm telling everybody. So that's what's in my courses. If you see a course that I have created, just know I'm telling you everything I know at that moment, and I will update it as needed. So, yeah, thank y'all so much. Love y'all. And I appreciate y'all for joining me this afternoon. I'm headed to get into this pool and get my water aerobics on. Mwah. Love y'all so much. Thank you and have a wonderful rest of your weekend.